This year marks what would have been Leonard Bernstein's 100th birthday. Considered one of America's greatest composers, Bernstein was known for Broadway hits like Candide and West Side Story. His music connected to the very essence of the human experience. Who doesn't want to be a kid at the gym dancing that exhilarating mambo, or feeling the joy of life's special moments while humming Make Our Garden Grow? Leonard Bernstein has always occupied a special place in my heart. Maria, in West Side Story, was the first leading lady I had the privilege to play, and the last role my father saw me perform before he died. I could still sing every verse of I Feel Pretty, but I won't. What is perhaps less known about Leonard Bernstein is a quality that he and I both share: a deep and profound love for the state of Israel. Bernstein believed in the unique power of music to unite people, in its ability to give strength and healing to those in need. And so, in 1948, as his beloved Israel was engulfed in a war for its independence, Bernstein did what he could. He played music. Over the course of 2 months, he played close to 40 concerts with the newly named Israel Philharmonic Orchestra. Bernstein was a man known for his boldness, for his fearlessness in pursuit of his art. And so it came that on a warm desert afternoon in 1948, Bernstein would help alter the course of the war. Just a few days earlier, the United Nations had ordered Israel to withdraw its troops from the remote Negev town of Beersheba. The desert town had been a hard-fought battleground for the Israelis. The fledgling army defied the UN and stood their ground. The very next day, the Israeli troops were met with an unlikely reinforcement: Leonard Bernstein and 35 members of the Israel Philharmonic. An archaeological dig served as the concert venue, with high walls that created a kind of amphitheater. Locals traveled in from area towns. Wounded soldiers were transported in from a nearby hospital. Crowd estimates ranged in the thousands. Reports heralded a setting alive with chattering soldiers, the men and women of the frontline army. Bernstein and the orchestra played 3 concerti in a row: Mozart Piano Concerto 15 in B-flat major, Beethoven's First Piano Concerto, and an extraordinary encore, Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. As they played, the enemy watched. Egyptian reconnaissance planes scrambled overhead. The Egyptian pilots reported back what they believed to be startling information: Israeli troops were massing in large numbers in Beersheba. Convinced that an invasion was imminent, Egypt moved its troops from nearby Jerusalem to await the impending onslaught. The redeployment altered the course of the war. The Egyptians wouldn't find out until years later the truth: that music and hope had won the day. It was Dr. Chaim Weizmann, the man who became Israel's first president, that would later try to explain Egypt's reaction. Who would take time in the midst of a war to listen to a Mozart concerto? The lessons of that day in 1948 were not lost on Bernstein. He, like all of us here today, loved Israel. He would go on to travel to Israel nearly every year up until his death in 1990. It was one of his greatest lifelong passions, next to music. Bernstein understood the power of music, but even more so, he understood the power people can have when they gather together. And so this evening, we gather again. We gather and honor a musical genius who chose to lead. We gather to celebrate a nation that, in the midst of war, took a little time to listen to a little Mozart. And now, presented in partnership with the American Israel Cultural Foundation, in celebration of Leonard Bernstein's music, a classic, my favorite, Tonight. Tonight, it all began tonight. I saw you and the world went away. Tonight, there's only you tonight. What you are, what you do, what you say. Today, all day I had the feeling a miracle would happen. I know now I was right. For here you are, and what was just a world is a star Tonight, the world is full of light, with suns and moons all over the place. Tonight, the world is wild and bright, going mad, shooting sparks into space. Today, the world was just an address, a place for me to live in, no better than alright. But here you are, and what was just a